Welcome to the Kawartha Small Business Podcast, where we believe the Kawarthas can be the most thriving region in Canada for small businesses. I'm Brian Rump from Profit Coach.
And I'm Matt Geraghty from Matty G Digital.
And we are recording from the Thrive Podcast Studio at Thrive Co-working Community, downtown Lindsay, Ontario at 18 Kent Street West. All right, welcome. We have Paul Riley here. Paul, tell us about you.
Yeah, thanks. It's good to be here. I run the Riley Divorce and Family Law Firm. We have an office on Kent Street. We took over the place, I guess 4 years ago now. Well, maybe three years ago we've taken it over, but we've been working out of there for 4 years. So we're enjoying it, and we're pretty busy there. Overwhelmingly, our business, we help professionals and business owners get out of bad relationships and fight to protect what's rightfully theirs. That's my elevator pitch.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you end up doing that?
Well, it's funny. This is my second career. I always tell my kids, I said, I only ever wanted to do two things when I was a kid. I wanted to be a news anchor and a lawyer, and I've done them both.
Oh, wow.
I was with the CBC for 8 years. I was a news reporter in Toronto and a news anchor as well for them. And then I just got disenchanted with how that business went. I got passed over for a couple of national positions, national reporter jobs I thought should have been mine. I thought I was, and so my choices were stay there and be disgruntled, or go get that other goal I'd had and get a law degree and then run my own business. And I've been doing that for 20 years now.
Wow, that's awesome. I love learning that.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Oh, really? I thought I've told you all about his story. I thought it was kind of interesting. So,
Yeah.
Why do you love ending relationships so much?
I've never caused one divorce except my own. I'll take responsibility for my first my own divorce 15 years ago. That was my fault. The rest of them I have nothing to do with. People come to me, and what's good, man? It's good that people realize they don't have to stay in something that doesn't make them happy. Mm-hmm. Women especially, man, used to just languish in misery because they didn't have any options. They didn't have the income, the jobs. They didn't have the opportunity to get out. So they stayed in bad relationships because that's where the security was, even if they themselves didn't feel secure, So I think it's good. I think it's great what we do. We enable people to move on with their lives. And when they're moving on, I make sure they get everything they're entitled to get, that no one rips them off. No one intimidates them and tries to, take from them what, belongs to them. So, we feel good about what we do. I'm just turning the sound off here. I apologize.
You're a busy lawyer.
I'm muted now. But we don't, we like what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like unraveling a misery. We like making sure children are out of high conflict homes. We like championing someone who feels that they have no recourse. We like returning children who have been abducted. That's what we like. We get off on that, and we like winning. And we're aggressive about it. We're not a shop you come to if you want to mediate. Where you come after the mediation doesn't work, and you wanna win. So that's what we try to do.
You said that you always wanted to be a lawyer, along with being in media. Why did you gravitate towards divorce and family law?
Because I got divorced, and I didn't like how it was handled. So I figured I could do it better myself. When I left the CBC, it made sense for me to try and stay in media law, right? And kind of amalgamate what I'd done for 8 years with this new, the degree I'd had at the time. And in fact, initially, the first couple of years, that's what I did. For those first 2 years in particular in Toronto, 60% of any urban music concert or artist that came through Toronto came through my office. Whether at the time it was Eminem, 50 Cent at the time. We've produced shows with Alicia Keys, Nelly Furtado. We produced the Steve Nash had the 1 year he had a charity basketball game in Toronto, and we drew with us, our firm handling all of it. We drew 18,000 people to the Scotia Center now, I think it's called, and we raised almost $300,000 for his charity.
Oh wow!
So the stuff I was doing initially, and maybe I was spending too much time doing that because then I ended up having to get a divorce, and I didn't like how it went, and I felt that I could have handled it better, and that's when I started focusing in that area of family law. And what I find it's this, I always tell people if you have a corporate dispute, commercial dispute, you look to the contract. If it's a criminal law matter, well, then you got to look at the body of evidence and see where that lies. But in family law, it's about the stories. Who tells the most compelling story, the most believable story? And I told over 2,000 stories for the CBC in 8 years. So that makes me the best storyteller working as a divorce lawyer in this country. So I go in there and I tell my clients stories more emphatically and more compelling than anybody else doing this. And then obviously we fortify our story with evidence as well.
Do you think that's why you've maybe been so successful as a lawyer, because of that storytelling media background?
Without question.
Yeah.
Without question. That's what it's about. It's the law is the law. We all have access to the statutes and the laws, and we're all going to have read them when we come in. But then who's going to be able to articulate their client's position the best? Who's going to make the one adjudicator? It's only one judge. It's not a criminal situation where you got 12 people and you just try to reach one or two out of the 12. It's one judge who's going to make the decision, and he or she is going to decide based on the stories they've just heard. And we tell stories in our business, and that's what we try to do. Tell their story. We're always saying, go and tell her story, tell his story, let the judge know their story, and we do that better than anybody.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you think that? Sorry, now I'm just rapid firing questions
Oh, I love it.
into my head. Do you think that you are a business owner first or a lawyer first now?
Well, I was a lawyer first and foremost. It's just now I'm transitioning to being a law firm owner. Before when it was me and just one clerk, it was me doing everything. Now, we've got 15 people at the firm, and we've got lawyers and clerks all over the province because we work remote. That's what's exciting about right now doing what we're doing. We had started working remote even before COVID, but COVID has expedited the amalgamation of law and technology. So now, I was just in court before I came to see you, but I was doing it from my desk, right, via Zoom. So, that's allowed us to have lawyers in Ottawa, lawyers in Toronto. We just opened last week in Oakville, our 4th office now, and of course our building here.
Congratulations.
And, thank you, in Kawartha Lake. So now, for sure, I'm a law firm owner. I still have files that I deal with, but overwhelmingly, I've put really talented people in place. I've given them autonomy. We try to support them and let them be successful.
How are you liking or feeling about those new responsibilities? It's very different, right?
Yeah, but it's 20 years in. It's I enjoy seeing the firm grow. I enjoy the reputation we've established, the successes we've had. I enjoy when clients say, "You saved my life."
Yeah.
I enjoy that, and it doesn't have to be me having been the lawyer in the courtroom who did the work. We're facilitating it, right? So for me, it's pretty cool phase right now to grow this thing, and we're not going to try and get into 10 locations or anything. I think where we are right now is where we want to stay and just be the best in those 4 locations. I'm not going to try and put up 10 shops all over the place. I want to now focus on Ottawa, Toronto, Kawartha Lakes, and now Oakville, and I want to be the best in those locations, and we're on our way.
I feel like it's fairly unique, and both of you would probably know better than me, but in Kawartha Lakes, to be a specialty in divorce and family law, there's a lot of big firms along this street or off this street. But
Are there? I didn't notice any.
How many did you pass on the way? You don't look, eh? How many of them are actually just focused? You don't need to name them, but I think it's unique that you're only focused on that.
I think for us, that's where we are now.
Yeah.
We're in the Google era. If I have a sprain on my left pinky toe, I'm going to Google doctor who fixes left pinky toe. I wouldn't even Google the doctor who fixes the right pinky toe, even though they're all toes. I want a guy who knows what the left pinky toe has to endure.
Yeah.
So it's the same with looking into law. I don't want a generalist.
Yeah.
I don't want a guy who does real estate, criminal, and then Thursdays he does divorce, This is the Google era. People look up specifically what they need, what ails them, how do I fix it? So that's the way I addressed it. My business used to be called Paul Riley Law Office Professional Corporation. Well, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, who's going to look up that? No. Give me a divorce lawyer, best divorce lawyer in Ottawa, best divorce lawyer in Kawartha Lakes. That's what they're searching. And when they do, they find us. And when they find us, they find that we've got 5-star reviews across the board, and people have been very happy with how we've dealt with them. So, I made that change 5 years ago, and I made it because of the era we live in. It made no sense for me to be called the Paul Riley Law Office Professional Corporation.
Yeah.
I wanted people to be able to find me when they had a problem, and the problems that we deal with are family law and divorce.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not to say for sure, but do you ever see yourself getting into any other facet of law then?
No.
Or just foot down no?
No. This is the most intimate area of law. People take you into their homes, how they're treated, into their bedrooms, how they've been abused, how their kids are dealt with, into their bank account, their finances. It's an intimate area, and not everybody runs a corporation or business. They're not going to need you for business law. Certainly not everybody has criminal problems, but we all have families. There's no one more needed in terms of law than us. We're who you come to when you're feeling weak and despondent. We're who you come to when you feel someone's taking advantage of you in your home, when your children are at risk of growing up in turmoil. We're who they come to. That's a tremendous responsibility, and we love it. We love helping people solve problems, and we love having people's backs. I like having their back. I like being their advocate. I like championing them. And I hire people who have that same spirit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you have to remain emotionless?
No. That's not how it works. You still care, but you don't make decisions based on your emotions.
Sure.
But it's okay for me to see, man, that guy's an ass. I don't like how he's treated you.
Yes.
But then I don't make our game plan based on that.
Sure.
But I still feel the emotion of what my clients go through. We're still human, right? We still emote when we hear a sad story. We still are pissed off when we think one of our clients, they're trying to rip her off or him off, right? Or when someone steals our client's kids and moves halfway around the world in a straight up abduction and then makes up stories about why she left with the kids. That's child abduction, and we're irate.
Yeah.
And then we go in there and we fix it. And that's what we've been doing. So we channel the emotion, but we don't pretend it doesn't exist, Emotion's a huge part of this. One of the things I'm most proud of with our firm is we provide divorce coaching, complimentary divorce coaching. Why? Well, any psychologist will tell you that other than someone close to us dying, divorce or leaving an intimate relationship is the most stress that any of us will ever go through. And most lawyers, law firms want to ignore that piece. We don't. We lean into it. We provide you with a divorce coach to help you, to support you in that emotional piece. We don't charge you for that. We charge you for the legal work. And we do the legal work while you're getting that emotional support. And that's unique. Now, in the last probably 6 months, I've seen other firms now jumping on, and ironically enough, some of those firms are firms that have gone against us and heard about it. So I know they're copying me right now. If you're hearing me, firms, you know who I'm talking to. But that's okay. it's good. I want their clients to be supported too,
Sure.
because it's an emotional journey as well as a legal one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What interests me, there's a lot of things that interest me about you, but the way I came to be introduced to you was through marketing. So I remember I opened up the Lindsay Advocate one day, and I actively was like, I want to talk to more business owners. And I opened up the Advocate, and you had the whole back page, or the back front page or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to know this guy.
Yeah.
And I literally just went to LinkedIn. I was like, hey, do you want to have a coffee? And you replied right away. You're like, yep.
Yeah.
And then learning about you and your brain of how it works with marketing, it's rare that anyone does marketing in Kawartha Lakes, or B, law firms that are doing like actual outbound type of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I won't name them again, but I can think of only a couple. I think that's fascinating that you've actually grown the business or started the business and been doing that type of marketing.
And it served us well.
Mm-hmm.
It served us well. We're the top divorce firm in Kawartha Lakes now.
Mm-hmm.
Where people come to when they need help in this. Where firms refer people to come.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know that's what we do. That's all we do. And we've been tremendously successful here. We're number one here now, and that's because of our initiatives of marketing, letting people know about us. We've done radio here. Not just commercials. I've had a segment on radio where I go in for 2 hours, once a month and talk about law and divorce coaching and raising kids and the weather and their radio contests and stuff. So I've immersed myself in the community. Now you mentioned the Advocate. Now we're on the back page, the back cover. Starting some point soon, we're on the back cover now, so you don't even have to open it thing to see me, my mug. You just turn it over and I'm there, and I love that. Actually, I think today we're on the front cover of the social, Kawartha Lake Social. We have a front cover story about our firm and divorcing narcissists, which is one of the key areas we deal with. So it's for me, it's the only way, right? We can't hope to God someone hears about us. We got to kind of put it in their face and tell them what we do and who we are, right?
Why is marketing so important to you in the business then?
We want to win in business. We want people to know we're good. We want people to know we're here and here to provide them good service. And for me, if we don't do that, then you're just hoping to God they find you. And that's not a good business plan, You got to kind of put the marketing dollars into something. And what we do is every dollar we spend, we look at it on a monthly basis, right? What did we spend? What did we get back as a return? Is this something we're going to continue doing? That's the metrics of that takes up a lot of time for us, because if something isn't working, then we say, okay, pull the funds from there, let's put it somewhere else, and we move on, right? So every month I can tell you how many people come in as a result of the magazine, or when we're on radio, or our Google business page, or referrals, professional referrals, former client referrals. We keep track of absolutely every one. I can tell you where every single client has come from, because we pay really particular attention to the metrics of all of that. It helps us in terms of where we put marketing dollars and where we're just wasting money, right?
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I don't do your marketing, but that was like a commercial to do marketing in general, so thank you.
Yeah, we joke that this podcast is really about marketing, and we always end up talking about marketing, and that was a master class. And
well, if you're in business, if you're in business, how do you determine what's working or not, right? We have monthly meetings on that to see, absolutely. If we pick up 15 clients in a month, I can tell you exactly where the 15 have come from. It's not just referrals. Okay, who referred them? Yeah. What client? And how many she referred to us. I've got one client who sent me 14 people.
Oh, wow.
That's like a whole marketing team, right? Even during COVID, she would have a backyard tea. And we'd sit at one end of the table, the referral person would be at the other end, and we would pitch them and sign them up that way. So, we'd go after it aggressively.
I think that's really important, And what I love about this is you have a core message and a core reason why you're doing this, and that backyard tea and the referrals of relationships is you need that in your marketing because you're dealing with vulnerable people who are scared. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And they want their guide. They want someone who's going to help them with empathy. Yeah. And the more you tell stories of the same story, people know who to refer you to. Like,
oh, without question. And there's no client better than the referred client, right? Mm. I mean, I equate it in terms of a basketball analogy. If someone finds me on Google and they set up a consultation, I've still got to close that. Now, our closing rate, our conversion rate is very high, but that's still work to be done there.
Yeah.
I equate that in basketball to taking a three-point shot, whereas a referred client, that's a layup. Yeah. The work's already been done. He or she
have to have tea.
As long as I don't show up with cookie crumbs on my face, I'm going to get that client, right? Yeah. Because they've already been told, this guy's good, their firm is great, they looked after me, I've been through what you've been through, and they're the ones who helped me through it. Yeah. I just have to show up and not cuss people out, not have food spilling out of my mouth, and I'm going to get that client. Yeah. But if it's a Google search, I've still got to close, because chances are, when I'm done, they're going to talk to 2 other lawyers and then decide, right? Yeah. I like my chances still, but it's there's no client better than a referred client, for sure.
Yeah.
Did
you mention the coaching, or what did you mention about the divorce?
So we provide divorce coaching, and that is, in essence, we have a couple of coaches who work with our clients, especially new clients, right? And people who are going through divorce for the first time. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're on your 5th divorce, you don't need a coach. Okay. So we don't.
You need a different kind of coach.
Yeah, because I know, is that the thing that I know about? I just don't want to say anything that other people don't know about yet. Not that I'm getting divorced, but I've talked to you in the background.
So
program.
Right. So what you know about, what you're going to help us with, is we're starting a community online with that coaching, right? So we've talked to you about helping us create a site and a community where people, and it's funny you mentioned that. Last night we had our webinar, and we had 40 people who attended. Wow. And it was really, and it was great.
That's enormous. You should be congratulated and understand the scope of the fact you got so many people.
And here's the best part. It's actually 39, and 39 of them stayed right to the end.
That's incredible.
That. And you know what that tells you? People are hurting. People want a community. You should have seen the interactions going on in the middle of our webinar. It was just the communication on the chat was emphatic. People need this, and that's what we've talked about. Because so right now we provide complimentary coaching sessions for our new clients, right? So you get 4 or 5 sessions. If someone really needs it, we just keep it going.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about starting is as an offshoot. It won't be with the firm, but it's a divorce coaching community where they can get a coach to work with them long term. They can come together and have that group like they did last night. And I saw how desperately people needed that last night. So it was illuminating last night.
That's the thing I've learned maybe the most in the last couple of years, that people are desperately looking for a community.
Yeah.
And whatever they're interested in, divorce or like a men's group or support about a specific ailment or whatever, that's what people want. And that's what I think people need to be putting out more of as well.
Yeah, community heals, I think. And when you're going through those things, you can feel like you're not alone. You can access just topics that relate to everyone there versus sitting in those big general communities where, there's a bunch of stuff happening that doesn't really interest you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've spoken to 4 women in the last couple of years about divorce, and it's fascinating. Like, nobody knows what their rights are, what's allowed, what's not, and I think that community will be so helpful for people because, like Brian said, the idea of, this is what I'm going through is actually normal, and that's really reassuring.
Yeah, it's necessary, man. Listen, it's hard. I consider myself as well balanced as they come. But when I went through, my own divorce, it was about 15 years ago. Man, that was the toughest thing I'd ever gone through. I had young kids. Man, I had my son, and my daughter was only I think 15 months. My son was about 3. He wasn't quite 4 yet. Maybe they were 4 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly I didn't marry, someone thinking that I wasn't going to be at my house with my son and my daughter every day. It's the last thing I wanted. So I was disappointed in that whole process, man, and myself for, being the genesis of the whole divorce happening. It was my fault, and I felt terrible about that. And it was a tough time. And then when we got into the process, we kind of worked something out, and then bring in a lawyer who just I felt wasn't there to solve a problem, and in fact made things worse. And that's when I decided I could do this better, and it was an emotional time. It was a time where, a judge uttered the words that I don't think any lawyer thinks he will ever hear, when the judge said, "Mr. Riley, am I going to have to call security?"
No way.
Because I was so pissed off at the allegations being made, right? And it was just, that's not how we handle things, We handle things and we try to be amicable. We start things off that way. For us to really, go after somebody, they have to be really going after our client, And in my case, that wasn't the case. We ended up, the same deal we had discussed without lawyers is the same deal we ended up, but we had to mend some fences after that, because it was a tough period. So I felt if I could be that distraught over it, and I'm a pretty tough guy, then I got to understand that this is really tough for people to go through, and we do. So the divorce coaching element, the supportive piece, the emotional buffer that we provide, and boosting people up and helping them to try and regain their self-esteem and self-confidence. That's what my coaches do. That's an integral part of what we do. We don't charge people for that, our firm. We're not making money off that. That's just us being human and having gone through it and knowing what's necessary. It's more than just about equalization and support payments and parenting time. It's about people are going through the toughest time of their lives. I've been through it, and I'm not going to pretend it was easy. It was hard. So if it was hard for me, I know it's hard for everybody, and that's what we try to do. So that's what we're doing, man. It's an exciting firm. We've got great, talented lawyers and clerks and people who care about people. All our support team, they're just elite. Now we're at the point where we're very discerning, not just in terms of the clients we accept, but also the people we hire to work with us, because they're all representing the firm, and the firm's in a good place right now.
Awesome. Yeah. I feel like my line of questioning is done. He spoke so effectively.
That's what he does.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did he ignore the part when I said I'm the best storyteller working as a divorce lawyer in this country? Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you're going out to be the guy.
Yeah, without question. Without question. Let me tell you, when people are going through stuff, they want somebody strong with them, right? They want confidence. That's what people are paying us for. They're paying us because they're going through uncharted territory. They've never been here before. They're exposed. They're fearful. They don't know what the hell's going to happen. They don't want a wallflower beside them, who just knows the laws and the statutes. They want somebody who's going to emanate confidence, exude confidence, and be strong for them as you take them through this process. And that's what we do.
They want a killer. That's how I've introduced you to other people.
That's what I am.
He's a killer.
That's exactly what I am.
Yeah, but in such a empathetic way.
Yep.
Which I think is really important, because there's lawyers, I think, out there who position themselves as the killer who is all business, and you're kind of afraid of them. It's not a comfortable thing to go talk to them, whereas I think you do a good job of making people comfortable.
Yeah, that's what we do, because we've been through it. Most of the people who work for me have been through it, We try to, I think it helps. I think it helps when you've been through it to let people know that you understand, what they've gone through.
Yeah, tell me about, so you have the locations. Do people generally find you and work online, or do they like coming into the office?
Overwhelmingly, we work online. You got to retain me online. Once you retain me, then yeah, sure. If you want to meet in person, we organize that because we do have, like I said, lawyers in Ottawa, Toronto, in our locations, and clerks. So if you want to meet in person, we facilitate that. But quite frankly, we're usually meeting our clients for the first times in court, when we've got to be there for a physical appearance, Most of it's over Zoom, right? Now, it's still important to me, and this is what's cool about where we are right now, because we're creating this thing. We're making it up as we go along, right? This is remote law firm. Nobody has a book out about it. It might be my next book, in fact, because what I know is this. We're still human, so we still need this interaction. You still need to shake someone's hand. You still need to pat someone on the shoulder at some point and say, it's going to be okay. Let them feel you, And so we make room for that, right? Once a quarter, for example, our divorce coach will send out to Ottawa. And while she's out there, she'll meet with 4 or 5 clients and spend physical time, communicating with them. Our clerks will do the same things at times, and get out. The lawyers will make themselves available. So we amalgamate, the remote and sprinkle in some of the physical appearances prior to going to court. If someone really desperately wants to say, because I know it means a lot. We've met with clients, and when we meet them, what do? We go, we have lunch.
Yeah.
That's what humans do. And we take them to lunch, and we sit down with them for an hour or so, and we talk about them. And maybe the last 5 minutes we'll talk about their case,
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's how I run my business, and it's effective. Every time we've done that with a client, every single time the client has said, thank you, I needed this, because we're human. And that's that social interaction that, is lost a bit from the remote work. So we get that, and we still try to implement that, We also do what we call gas calls. Gas, G-A-S, give a shit calls. Just for no reason, even if we're not dealing with your file, we gas call you every couple months just to say, hey, Matt, how you doing? Nothing's going on with your file, just calling to check in,
Yeah.
We do that too. So these are things we implement to let people know we're still engaged with them, and they're not just a retainer to us, and we only see you when the clock's ticking and the meter's running. We don't do that. We still make time, go grab a bite. If I'm going to be in Ottawa at a trial, I'll get there a day or two early. So while I'm there, I'll meet with 5 Ottawa clients.
Yeah.
If I'm going to Toronto for a motion, I'll hang around after and see if someone wants to have lunch or even a dinner, to get that physical thing and get in front of them, because I know it's lost were the days where they come to the office all the time, right? Even though we have the physical space here, physical space in all our places where we can meet people, but it doesn't happen often. So we do try to be, progressive with it and say, okay, we haven't seen so-so in a while. I'm going to be in Toronto. Let's see if he's available for lunch, or let's see if she's available for a drink or dinner. And we do the same thing when we go anywhere we go.
That's cool. So why the physical spaces? So you just opened Oakville when you could be virtual. What's the benefit?
It's still necessary. It's still, now I say that, for example, Ottawa, we have a virtual office there where we meet clients, but I think maybe 3 times in the last 2 years, someone has come by there and usually drop off a check. Because when we're in Ottawa, we have a corporate membership at the Rideau Club, which is an exclusive private club there. And that's where we meet our clients.
Okay.
So when they come, we meet them for breakfast, lunch. So we do meet them there. They come in and they deal with us there. And I saw how effective that was, how important, how it resonated with the people. So that's why I said, okay, Oakville's important to me. We've always done well there. Let's get a physical space there, our own space, where people can come and sit down and get that meet and greet as well. So we got a nice office space there, and I think it'll be worth it for us in Oakville. Oakville's going to be a very, very good market for us.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I'm just fascinated by that, and I think people do like the reasonable local person. So, if you're in Oakville or that whole side of Toronto, at least there's somewhere you can go, even if you never actually.
And they never do, they never go. But we now at least know we can, pull someone in. I'll tell you, we get a lot of traction out of here. Our office here, our building here. Kawartha Lake's a different place.
Yeah.
You know, people just walk in. Nowhere in Toronto. No, I've been a lawyer for 20 years. No one's ever just showed up at my office in Toronto or Ottawa. Kawartha Lakes, they just drop in all the time. Hey, where's Paul? It's a small town, right?
Yeah.
So I know that, and that's why I facilitate that. And we always have someone there. You know, our executive assistant is always there, and so that is a place where people do come in, and when we're dealing with clients, you know, it's a big retirement community up here. A lot of some of our clients up here don't want to deal with Zoom, so we have an office, you know, and then our clerks who work remotely, but we have 2 or 3 clerks in this area in Lindsay, in fact, and so when a client's coming in, they'll pop in and take the office and just have a regular office meeting with them. When the client leaves, then they go back home, because a lot of the reason people like working with our firm is because they do get to work remotely. Some of our clients have young children. Well, they're home to pick them up. They can drop them off at school. You know, if a kid's sick, the kid can be in the room and they're still there working, right? It's important to share with you that the work-life balance is integral to our culture. You know, I know what law firms are supposed to be like and what they've historically been like. I don't run my business that way. I tell my team, if you can't take care of your family, if your family isn't a priority, how the hell are you going to make someone else's a priority? If you're distressed and worried about your own family, you're not going to be able to focus on someone else's. So, we don't tax our people in terms of work demands, and we make sure it fits in with their family lives. We have one clerk. She wanted Fridays for her kids, so she works Monday to Thursday for us, you know. We have others that have to stop at 4 o'clock because that's when the school bus arrives, you know, so they start earlier, right? We build it around our team. So our team feels good about it, and they're happy, and they'll stay with us longer.
Have you always been open to that balance, or is that something in the last couple of years maybe adopted with the evolution and change?
Yeah, I've adopted that. You know, I think the remote and the technology affords us the ability to do that. So why am I going to continue working in an archaic way? You know, demanding people get on a bus or drive in the winter to come to work. I don't want to do that. You know, so I think it makes sense. The technology is there, so we're using it wholeheartedly, and it makes sense to have someone put their kid on a bus, then start their day, and then end their day as the bus arrives. For me, you know, it makes sense to me. And I think that's why our team is happy, because they're our priority. You know, we do things like that. Google reviews are important to us, so we've got an in-office contest. What the clerk or the lawyer who gets the most client Google reviews about their work, they've got an all-expense trip for 2 to the Caribbean. It goes from February to February. So they have until February, and whoever's got the most 5-star reviews, we give them a trip for 2 to a Caribbean island, right? So these are the things we do for our team to show them how important they are to us, right? If someone wants to upgrade in anything, we've got one of our team going to San Diego to take a course next week, I think, for 3 or 4 days on marketing, right? Because she wants to do that. We help our team, and I think it's important to have that commitment to invest in our team. And I think if you do that, you know, people will be invested in the firm as well.
Yeah, I think that I really like that, because I find I've worked with some different professionals who they buy into the archaic system of this is how it should be. And then you get a firm that is, you know, generalist firm where people are working on a million different things, and they have to drive and work long hours and weekends. And then they complain that no one wants to work anymore because they can't find staff. When you could have someone where all these people still want to work, they have to perform, but they get to focus on family and one thing, and you adapt it around what helps them take care of their families. That's just a compelling place to work. So I bet it helps you attract the best people.
I think so, and we have, quite frankly, we've stolen some of the best clerks from some of these firms down the street.
I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, that's you want to win, right? So you want the
Because,
best.
we provide an environment where they know they're appreciated. One of the kind of mantras that you'll find reverberates throughout our firm. People say to each other, "I appreciate you." Not "I appreciate it," "I appreciate you."
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what we do. I don't run my business in any kind of hierarchy. Most law firms, you got your partners here, you got your lawyers here, you got your clerks here. We don't roll that way. Our thing is a team.
Yeah.
In fact, we just hired a recruiter, just started with us this week. We had to get a full-time recruiter because the firm is expanding. We're looking to hire 6 to 8 more lawyers in the next year.
Oh, wow.
And so it made sense for us to hire our own recruiter. And the only advice I could possibly give to her, because I know nothing about recruiting, but the only advice I gave to her was, ask them, all potential candidates, if they've played team sports.
Yeah.
Because this is a team. I may be one of the captains. We got 2 or 3 captains.
Yeah.
I may be one of the captains, but I'm no one's boss.
Yeah.
I don't want a boss. Why would anyone want a boss? You're an adult, for God's sakes. You really
Yeah.
want to be bossed around? I encourage my kids to never have a boss, to create a business so no one's telling you what to do, when to show up all the time. So, no, I don't want to boss anyone. I don't boss anyone. I work with my team,
Yeah.
and they're respected as much as I am. It's a team atmosphere in our company, and that's what I'm proud of. That's the culture. Everybody is vital. Every role is integral.
Yeah.
From the lady who answers our phone, she might have the most important role.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe, actually, yeah.
to the people working on highly sophisticated and important issues,
Yeah.
right, and documents. So, we're a team-oriented firm, and it's run that way. It's not the old archaic way of running a law firm. I don't subscribe to that.
Yeah. I just love that. What a great conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. I think we've covered everything. And it's all about story,
No,
about
it's
you,
good. Yeah, it's
how to
good.
run a business. This has been wonderful. Any final thoughts? Where can the people who need you find you?
Yeah, we're on Kent Street, 223 Kent Street West, the building that looks like a tuxedo because we're very formal there. It's a black and white building right there, and we're happy to help anyone going through stuff, or if people just have questions on family law and their own situation. We can, be happy to talk to them as well.
What's your website?
TheRileyFirm.ca.
But stop in anytime you want and ask for Paul.
No. All right, thanks,
Awesome,
guys.
thank you.
All right.
And that's our show. Matt, what do you want the people to know, and where can they find you?
I want them to go to mattygdigital.com and book a call.
Awesome. And I want them to go to profitcoach.ca and book a call with me. If you'd like to be on the podcast, please reach out to us, and we can make that happen at Set It Up at kawarthasmallbusinesspodcast.ca.